I'm Seth Andrews, and what you're about to hear is a true story. Another history lesson today, and I think it just might shock you. For this one, we go back in time to America before America. The arrival of the Massachusetts Bay Colony, traveling here from England to what they would then call the New World. These were the Pilgrims, those pious Puritans, so pure, in fact, that some among them would even call themselves saints. And so many of these early Puritans had arrived at Plymouth convinced the European church was too carnal. It was too debauched, certainly too authoritarian with its king and bishops and excess and corruption. They wouldn't respond to an English king. They had one king, the biblical God, and those European posers practicing a watered-down Christianity had made the faith impure. Coming to America, these pilgrims would restore the true faith. They would be Puritan. Well, imagine the shock of these Puritans when faced with the pagan influences that were rampant upon these new lands. Unbiblical behavior, raucous parties and celebrations, rituals and practices that were rooted in false gods and their false gospels. Unseemly stuff, customs and practices that borrowed from the Vikings and the Druids, and even the Catholic Church. That was scandalous. Feasting and drinking, gambling, unseemly games that were played by sinful people. The 16th century clergyman Hugh Latimer actually wrote about this godless festival. He said, in these parties, quote, men dishonor Christ. Now, the English Parliament had already taken steps against this kind of boisterous heathen ritual, and in 1659, the General Court of the Massachusetts Bay Colony did the same. It made the commemoration of this pagan festival a criminal offense. And for years to come, in Massachusetts, the public would be hostile toward the whole thing. On the specific date of that festival, the now outlawed festival, businesses weren't allowed to close down, while the churches were mandated to. And this prohibition on paganism would last over 200 years. Have you already guessed this one? Do you see it coming? The impure, carnal, ungodly pagan festival where trees were decorated to mark the winter solstice, a practice that was forbidden in the Bible, Jeremiah chapter 10. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with an axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. Well into the 17th century and beyond, how much indignation was directed at these customs of the people that God himself called heathen. The hanging of the holly and the ivy, which were echoes of the pagan festivals of Beltane, or the hanging of mistletoe, that magical fertility plant that was used by the Druids. The Yule logs, a leftover from Norse mythology. Gift exchange, borrowed from the old festivals which honored Saturn, the god of agriculture. It's hard for many people in this country to accept, but it is part of American history. This happened. The beloved December holiday with lights and feasts and song and decor and gift exchange. This festival considered by Christians too unchristian to be allowed. The holiday, which was banned in this country until 1856, is Christmas. And that is a true story.
TrueStoriesPodcast.com